Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Nurizati binti Muhammad Fazli, number battery A22A0199. Today, I would like to present about 4 figures who are very famous in this world. Firstly, Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, Mary Parker Fowler and lastly Max Weber. Before that, I would like to say thank you to Ms. Azlinda Shazmin binti Muhammad Shoaib for guiding me in doing this assignment. So, we go to the first figure, which is Frederick Taylor. Frederick Taylor was born in 1856 to a wealthy Quaker family in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, US, and died on March 31, 1950. As a teenager, Taylor spent time studying and traveling in Europe and enrolled in Film Executive Academy in New Hampshire in 1872. After graduating, he was accepted into Harvard Law School but was unable to attend due to poor eyesight. Then, instead of going to university at that point, Taylor filled various manufacturing-related roles, eventually earned a mechanical engineering degree from Stevens Institute of Technology in 1883 and became chief engineer at Midvale Steel Works in Philadelphia. After resigning in 1890, he became general manager of manufacturing investment company, but left company in 1893 to develop the profession of engineering management consulting. From 1906 to 1907, Taylor was the president of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers and later became a professor at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth College. Taylor is the best known for his 1911 book Principles of Scientific Management. In this book, he presented numerous principles of management that were based on the scientific method and could improve the efficiency and productivity of industrial workplaces. Due to this work, Taylor is known as the father of scientific management, which is also known as Taylorism. Among the principles invented by Frederick Taylor is Principle 1, develop a science for each element of work. Principle 2, scientifically select, train, teach, and develop the worker. Principle 3, cooperate with the worker. And lastly, Principle 4, divide the work and responsibility. Next slide, we go to the advantage and disadvantage of theory that has been presented by Frederick Taylor. First and foremost, Frederick Taylor's theory of advantage was enhanced production, which is the harmonious relationship between the management and workers axis in production in the organization. Secondly, ability to control. Employees become specialists in their field as they do the same task repeatedly. This makes it easy for the manager to have control over employees. Thirdly, decreases in accuracy. With better planning and improved decision making, the accuracy achieved. Next, first and foremost, Frederick Taylor's theory of disadvantage was requires huge capital, the establishment of work study, planning department, training of workers, and standardization requires more money. Secondly, management takes control. The management takes complete responsibility related to the control and planning of workplace activities. Lastly, planning reduces productivity. Took the capability to plan is an advantage. The downside of planning is that it makes work inflexible and rigid and may lead to carelessness and dissatisfaction. This directed to less productivity. The reason why he do this theory because Frederick Taylor used his engineering background to develop his scientific management theory. He believed that the use of engineering principles would lead to a reduction of waste and an increase in production and efficiency that would benefit not only the business but employees and society in general. So, we go to the second figure is Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol was born on July 29, 1841 in Constantinople, the present Turkey city of Istanbul. His family was of French origin and wealthy. Henry and his family returned to France in 1847 where Henry received an education commensurate with his good social standing. The first studies were carried out at the Lycée de Lyon, and later on, he proceeded them at the National School of Mines located of Saint-Étienne. At age 19, in 1860, Fayol obtained his degree as a mining engineer. Henry Fayol, also known as the father of modern management theory, gave a new perception of the concept of management. He introduced a general theory that can be applied to all levels of management and every department. The Fayol theory is practiced by the managers to organize and regulate the internal activities of an organization. He concentrated on accomplishing managerial efficiency. The management theory of Henry Fayol includes three main theories. First and foremost, the 6 industrial activities. Secondly, the 5 functions of management, and thirdly, the 14 principles of management. He focuses on administrative management, which focuses on 5 things, namely planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. Next slide, we go to the advantage and disadvantage of theory that has been presented by Henry Fayol. First and foremost, Henry Fayol's theory of advantage of Fayol gave much of the basic terminology and concepts, which would be elaborated upon by future researchers, such as division of labor, selection, unity of command, and centralization. Secondly, Fayol was the first person to actually give a definition of management, which is generally familiar today, namely forecast and plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate, and to control. Fayol also gave much of the basic terminology and concepts, which would be elaborated upon by future researchers. Thirdly, Henry Fayol's theory is extremely comprehensive as a way to deal with management techniques. It is also the most used because it has been proven towards its being comprehensive, as it covers just about anything what one might need to do in a management position to ensure success. Next, first and foremost, Henry Fayol's theory of disadvantage was still based on humans. As humans, we are naturally going to make mistakes. The theory works on the basis of having harmony among people, in which unity forms to create a strong management team. However, when mistakes are made, it can undermine the entire strength of the team. Secondly, absence of attention to issues such as individual versus general interest, remuneration, and equity suggests that Fayol saw the employer as paternalistic and by definition working in the employee's interest. Lastly, more focus on authority than democracy. That means the manager has the right to give instructions and has the power to attract someone to follow the instructions. This situation can cause stress to the support staff. Even unable to achieve organizational objectives, employee job satisfaction will be affected, and indirectly this will give rise to feelings of hatred towards the manager. Eventually, the performance of an organization will be affected. The reason why Henry Fayol created a management theory because Fayol wanted to guide their employees towards being more efficient in achieving their goals. Therefore, he has set steps for managers to get best out of employees and run the business efficiently. Third figure is Mary Parker Follett. Mary Parker Follett was born in Quincy, Massachusetts on September 3, 1868. She died December 18, 1933 in Boston, New York. In the 1898, she graduated from Radcliffe College. She is known as the modern mother of technology. She was an American social worker, management consultant, and philosopher. She involved in community, recreational, educational, and advocacy groups where she formed her ideas of participatory democracy. She authored a number of books and numerous essays, articles, and speeches on democracy, human relations, political philosophy, psychology, organizational behavior, and conflict resolution. She published several books, which is the Speaker of the House of Representatives in 1896, the new state in 1918, creative experience in 1924, and dynamic administration in 1941. Among the theories introduced by Mary Parker Follett are leadership theory, negotiation theory, theory of power and profit theory. In addition, she also made several works on democracy, therefore she is known as the mother of management or modern management. Next slide, we go to the advantage and disadvantage of theory that has been presented by Mary Parker Follett. First and foremost, Mary Parker Follett's theory of advantage was the importance of collaboration between employees and teams. This theory is very important to encourage cooperation and help build team spirit in the workplace. This can create a productive workplace atmosphere. Secondly, Mary Parker Follett emphasized personal management, which is the practice of understanding and developing the skills and abilities of employees. This can help employees build a strong team culture that is beneficial to both the organization and its employees. Thirdly, Mary Parker Follett's theory also emphasized communication and feedback loops. This can help ensure that everyone is on the same page and that everyone is able to contribute effectively to the organization's success. Fourthly, Mary Parker Follett's approach to management is still relevant today, as small business can benefit from her management principles and guidelines. This ensures that business are able to effectively manage their teams and maximize their productivity. Next, first and foremost, Mary Parker Follett's theory of disadvantage was the lack of technology considerations in her work. Mary Parker Follett's work predates the digital revolution and as such does not take into account the role of technology within a business. Secondly, her limited scope. Mary Parker Follett focused on personal management and collaboration, but she does not address other important areas such as finance, accounting, or marketing. Thirdly, her reliance on moral and ethical guidelines. While Mary Parker Follett emphasizes on collaboration and personal management is important, her reliance on moral and ethical guidelines may be seen by some as outdated and overly restrictive. Fourthly, her lack of global perspective. Mary Parker Follett worked primarily for a Western audience and as such her work lacks an international perspective. The reason why Mary Parker Follett created a leadership theory because leaders should value group power over personal power. This is said to be so because her theory suggests that a true leader creates power for the group rather than keeping it for himself. Therefore, the organization does not exist only for the benefit of one person, but is for all employees in the company and customers. So, we go to the fourth figure, which is Max Weber. Max Weber's full name is Maximilian Karl Emil Weber. Max Weber was born on April 21, 1864 in Erfurt, Prussia. He was the oldest of the 7 children of Max Weber. He was a German sociologist, historian, jurist, and political economist who is regarded as among the most important theorists of the development of modern Western society. His ideas profoundly influenced social theory and research. While Weber did not see himself as a sociologist, he is recognized as one of the fathers of sociology, along with Karl Marx and Emil Durkheim. His father was a wealthy and prominent civil servant and member of the National Liberal Party. In 1882, Weber enrolled in the University of Heidelberg as a law student. After a year of military service, he transferred to University of Berlin. Throughout the late 1880s, Weber continued his studies of law and history. In 1888, he joined the Bavarian for social politics. In 1893, he married his distant cousin Marianne Skriger. The couple moved to Freiburg in 1894, where Weber was appointed professor of economics at the University of Heidelberg. Among the theories introduced by Max Weber is the formal hierarchical structure, rule-based management, functional specialty for organization, out-focus or in-focus mission, impersonal, and lastly, employment based on technical qualification. We go to the advantage and disadvantage of theory that has been presented by Max Weber. First and foremost, Max Weber's theory of advantage was efficiency. Work is efficiently performed under the supervision of immediate managers in the hierarchy and competency increases. Secondly, decision making. Hierarchy provides for a top-down management structure. Decisions generally come from managers to supervisors and so on down the ranks of the organization. Thirdly, rules and regulations. Clearly stated rules and regulations in most cases allow for greater adoption within the bureaucratic structure. This reduces the scope of non-adherence to the framework of rules and protocols. Next, first and foremost, Max Weber's theory of disadvantage was nepotism. Nepotism in bureaucracy is often a problem. The managers sitting on top may favor their own people and help them rise quicker than more deserving individuals. Secondly, compartmentalization. Jobs are divided across categories, restricting opportunities for collaboration and performing tasks in other categories. For bureaucrats, compartmentalization is a psychological defense mechanism. Therefore, it keeps conflicting thought and feelings separated. Lastly, red tape. Bureaucracy, by its very character, follows a certain set of rules and regulations. As a result, this imparts a lack of flexibility and can often lead to inefficiency. Accordingly, government bureaucracy has become inefficient mass of red tape that was taxpayers' money. As a result, expertise and industriousness no longer characterize government bureaucracy. Further, this red tape wastes taxpayers' money towards accountability and acts against the public interest. The reason why Max Weber created theory of bureaucracy because proposed that all business tasks must be divided among the employees. The basis for the division of tasks should be competencies and functional specialization. In this way, the workers will be well aware of their role and work in the organization and what is expected of them. The similarities of Henry Fayol and Frederick Taylor's theories are according to Fayol and Taylor. Both theories of management aim to improve the efficiency and productivity of an organization. According to Fayol's theory of administrative management, clear hierarchical division of labor and centralized decision-making are essential. To improve overall efficiency, Taylor's theory, known as scientific management, emphasizes the importance of breaking down tasks into smaller components, analyzing and optimizing each component. To inform management decisions, both theories emphasize the importance of clear communication and the use of data and analysis. In conclusion, in my opinion, among the four figures that I have presented earlier, the figure of Henry Fayol is the most relevant figure at this time. This is because he focuses on administrative management, which focuses on 5 things, namely planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. This theory is used by every organization in the world to ensure that an organization runs smoothly. For me, it doesn't matter what theory we want to use, as long as it can provide good or success to the objectives that have been set. In Henry Fayol's management theory, all stages in the management process are important and interdependent on each other. All processes play their respective roles in ensuring that the objectives of a project or program are achieved. That's all my presentation. Thank you for listening. Goodbye everyone.